said I was going to circle back and tell you the story about the JAK inhibitors. So, you're like, what? So, okay, there are pill form of these disease modifying agents, biologic-like, that came out indicated in 2012 to treat rheumatoid arthritis. And really exciting, there's pill form, because a lot of people, like I know Deb doesn't like to do the self-injections or, so.
But I love infusions.
You do, that's true. But there are a lot of people that were just really, really excited. Well, so what ended up happening is the Food and Drug Administration, when they approved it in 2012, they also said, we are going to require you to do another study. And, research takes a long time. It takes quite a few years to go through the clinical trials, mainly because you've got to recruit a lot of people. And it goes into different phases. It starts with small, and then it goes bigger, and it goes to bigger. Well, this was a trial that was to compare the JAK inhibitor with what's called TNF inhibitors. So those are the first original biologics that came out. Patients, you might know them as like Enbrel and Humira. So it was a comparison study over several years here to figure out if it was in fact equal in safety to these TNF inhibitors. And the data did not prove that they were as safe. It actually, there was high level of cancer, there was a high level of cardiovascular, but if you're on these, I don't want you to be like, oh my God, because they also pointed out, not even in this session, it was actually a different session, because this is a hot topic now, because the FDA just came out a month ago, if a month, and gave it what's called a black box warning. And those are, methotrexate has a black box warning. So those are when a medication has a lot of potential serious side effects. That's where the black box comes in. So all of the data is not in yet, but the things to point out and remember, the sample, which would be the people that are in that's what they call the number of people, the group of people that are in the research, it calls sample. So the sample was mainly people over the age of 50, and they had to already have some cardiovascular comorbidity. So now think about that. If those are the people that were in that trial, and it's showing more cardiovascular events, if somebody maybe 20 that had no cardio, the results would not have been the same, right? So I just want everyone to, when you're reading these kind of reports, just know that you really have to look into those type of things, the background, and don't just be fearful. And if you talk to your doctor will likely know this background information as well, so that there's no alarm. These might still be the best option for you. So that's sort of what happened, and it's a to be continued because we don't have all of the data. But in saying that, it was interesting timing, because this same medication was just showing to be pretty successful. Well, ankylosing spondylitis, that was what they had listed as of, we just said axial spondyloarthritis. But so in phase 3 trials, so it was just getting ready to like, whoa, we're going to put it on market, and then this happens. So now there is sort of this, the FDA has not gone forward with this for spondyloarthritis, but it has moved forward in Europe. So if you live in Europe, the JAK inhibitor is indicated now as a treatment, but we're on hold in the United States because of this new data that has come out. And interesting, with me as a spondy, I was prescribed this drug and it did nothing for me. So just goes back to the whole precision medicine, right? Where what works for one doesn't work for the other.
And I'm on it, and I love it.
Did the JAK, or have you been hearing about it?
Katie, you said you were on it. What did you say?
I'm on that drug, and it works great for me.
Wow.
And I haven't heard anything from anyone else, so it was
Like
nice to have like the
your
insider.
doctors haven't said anything?
Not yet. They might at my next appointments,
Oh.
maybe, but no, they have not said anything to me.
And I think part of that is like I said, what you don't want is to spread fear, right? It sounds scary, but
Right.
when you dissect it and you actually look at the people who were in the trial, that's a pretty narrow group. So I also wanted to bring this up in case there are people who've heard and they're like, oh, the FDA and the black box warning and things are shooting around social media and they're like, you shouldn't be on those. Like, now you can be informed. You can spread the word on
Well,
that.
and
So,
with the fear thing too, sorry, I was going to
no,
say,
go.
like,
Yes,
even
please.
with the methotrexate too, that's obviously black box, like you said, and so many people have been like so afraid to take that drug. I was one of them at one point,
Yeah.
but it's done wonders for me. So, and I know it's done wonders for many others. So there's a lot that goes into taking methotrexate and precision medicine, because people have a certain like deficiency, they don't do well on methotrexate, and I forget what it's called, but it's like a gene marker. But if you know that, I think it's called MTHFR. I don't remember the name, but it's just kind of missing my mind right now. But that, especially in women who have that, they don't respond well. So there's like a lot of things that you can find out precisely what is going on within your body, and then you can find out if it will work for you or not.
That's a really good point. I know I have been on about every medication for for rheumatoid arthritis, just because, again, I've had it for 38 years and everybody is different. And if I was afraid to go on the medications, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be, as active as I am. I've got a 22-year-old son that, through his high school, I was always going to basketball, baseball, football games, all of those things. And I would have missed out on all that. These medications are life-changing for many, and everybody is different. So individualistic, and that's exactly where some of this research is just really great to hear. But I've been on methotrexate since I was 13 years old, started on the pills, and then I've moved on to the shots and done really well on it. But there's also labs that you have to do. So those are always good things to make sure things aren't happening. So that's another thing that you can do, is make sure you're following what your doctor wants you to do. So just my 2 cents.
That is so fascinating. And thank you for sharing that, Deb, about your son.
Yeah.
I'm a mom too, so that always makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But it kind of pulls me back to that session on remission, and about how quality of life matters. And these drugs, yes, they have warnings, yes, they have side effects, but the whole message here, and I think all of us can talk about this because we've all been on so many, and probably between all of us, we've been on every single drug that there is for RA.
Right.
I would imagine. But that these drugs can help you improve that quality of life and minimize the level of risk for things like radiographic progression, permanent joint damage, all those scary things that we don't want to talk about, but that are very real, So.
And I'm fixing what the damage that began with. That's why I've had to have reconstructive foot surgery and why my hands look the way they do now. It's because that all damage happened before I started biologics. So again, they can be life-changing medications. Just stay informed.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
That.
Mm-hmm.